Yeah. What's good, yo? Welcome to another episode of Real Talk, where, as always, if shit's real, we talk about it. Yo, I'm your host for tonight, Pat Scorpio, New England representative. And as always, I got my man with me. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Hey, what's good, man? You know what it is, man. The GOAT artist, aka Shutterworth the God, the GOAT artist, you feel me? LB, Lauderdale Boss, all of that. We here back now, Monday night, boxing talk. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. And we have a guest for tonight, man, because Ring Gang, we've been trying to get the interviews in, man, but it's been a while, but no, we're back with one, and it's an honor for us to have him on our show, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
I'm Trinidad Garcia. I am the current trainer of number one ranked Olivia Curry, who just fought for the unified middleweight championship of the world, WBC and WBA, this past weekend on September 19th, and got a draw. And I'm here to kind of talk about that and everything else involving boxing.
And yeah, and let's actually talk about Olivia Curry and that fight too, because we like Shutterworth and I, we watched it and everything like that, and that was like a fight of the year type of fight. Like they were just like boom, boom, like they were throwing some mean combinations into each other, and it was kind of hard to separate them at times. I was just like, wow, like they kept that up there, and so when I heard I think the first score was like 98-92.
Crazy. Which,
Yeah, I was
which
like,
was crazy either way.
yeah,
Like nobody was that dominant. Right?
yeah,
Yeah, and look, the, I think here's the reality of that fight. If anybody watched, in which I did, I found every Kay Scott fight humanly possible that she did since she turned pro. She fought
Mhm,
a unified, now currently a unified world champion in Dulcie Robinson, and she beat her the first time and
mhm,
lost to her the second time. She only had at that point five fights when we fought her. She was 4-1, and we knew that, but she had hundreds of amateur fights. She was considered like the queen of Australian boxing for a long time.
mhm,
um and I watched all her fights, man, and the goal was to go straight at her. This had nothing to like Our goal was to go at her, break her down to the body, and get her out of there towards the later rounds.
mhm,
I thought that we were gonna have to go find her to do that. To be honest, like for real, I thought we were gonna have to, find Kay Scott. Kay Scott has never done that. What I ended up finding out later after watching the fight was, and they talked about on the telecast, was that Kay Scott went ahead and she got a sports psychologist because she was not fighting the way she normally has been fighting for the beginning of her pro career. And she came out and did something that we didn't expect, and that was throw punches, try to go blow for blow with Olivia, which
mhm,
most people can't. And she did. And to
yeah,
her
she did.
credit, she made it a dogfight, which honestly is what we wanted.
Mhm.
But there were some things that we need to go back, correct. And I really do expect this to be an Olivia Curry victory when we hopefully run this back before the end of the year, because that's what they're talking about now.
Now, usually with the fights like that, because they did have a little attrition in it, like so didn't they like put them on type of suspension because it was that type of fight, Coach?
Nope. There is not. There is no
Oh wow.
suspension at all. Look, the different states do different things, fellas. Right? I
Feel
mean,
you, yeah.
it's just the way that ends up working out, and I'm glad because it's crazy because Olivia, and if you go back and you rewatch it and you listen in the corner, Olivia, and they talk about it on the broadcast, Olivia's like, I don't feel any of her power, and I'm
Yeah,
like, but
I remember that.
Yeah.
she's touching you. Like that's
Yes.
just boxing. And I'm like,
Mhm,
but she's touching you. She didn't get her head off the line. Olivia was very straight right in front of her. Olivia was letting go of brutal body shots when she was getting there. But she wasn't turning her. She was pop, 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 and coming right back to the middle.
mhm.
Yeah.
Olivia, and it's things now that we're gonna work on. Pop, 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 turning her and keep on turning her. And I would love to see if 42-year-old Kay Scott can do it twice. I'm putting my money on it won't happen.
Yeah, I know. Usually, obviously, even like in boxing age, like sometimes your biological age kind of betrays you, especially at a hard fight like that. Yeah, so I can see.
I
I mean, I
mean,
can
we
see
in
a
our
fight.
40s. We know how
Yeah, I know.
Yo, 100.
we know how far you got to dig for that.
Yeah.
I'm 42 years old. I fought professionally. My body is shot. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and I make jokes about it, but like legitimately, like the only positive about this fight being over right now is that my elbows take a minute to breathe from holding mitts and doing all that for a couple
Yeah.
days till I jump back into it.
Yeah, like me and LB, we didn't even get to your level of fighting pros. Like we were just boxing in our local gyms and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
our bodies are feeling it
one
Yeah.
like,
hundred
to this
percent.
day. Like, yeah, no,
No, so I get it. So
yeah,
like, both fighters have a lot to they're gonna have a lot to deal with on the rematch, which I'm really looking forward to. I noticed now. I noticed you did say about like she didn't really get her head off the line until like a little later on. I noticed like Curry had the jab popping,
mhm.
but for like the first maybe 3 rounds, I think she was kind of throwing it a little short.
Yeah, it took Olivia until about the fourth to
Yeah,
figure out the distance.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, if anybody goes back and watches the K Scott fight, K Scott throws two punches and then balls up. And in this fight, she did it differently. And I think, to their credit, I'm taking nothing away from her. It threw Olivia off for a second. And then when
yeah,
Olivia started finding her range, it was a different ball game. I think
yeah,
we just have
definitely.
to, and I think we have to get that quick quick movement out, just a little bit
Mhm.
faster. And I
Yeah,
feel like if we can get that off just a little bit faster and rip downstairs to that body. That left hook for Olivia was killing her all night.
Oh
And
yeah.
I
yeah,
feel
it was
like
there. Yeah,
Olivia's gonna go back to that, and we're gonna make sure that we are setting up traps to get to it.
Mhm.
yeah.
Now, how did Olivia feel after the fight? Like after the decision, like I mean, where it's like it was a majority draw and everything like
We were
that.
devastated. I'm not gonna sit here and try to sugarcoat anything because that's not who I am as a man, as a person. We were
Right.
here. I'm gonna be. I was said this today. I was on the Boxing Voice this morning, and I was very honest. Excuse my language. I'm fucking devastated.
Mhm.
I'm upset. I'm questioning every move. Me and Olivia's like my. It sounds crazy to say this because I'm 42. She's 35. It's like my daughter to me. So like
Mhm.
for us to not have came out, the unified world champion of the world, yeah, it sucks.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you right now, all that's going through my head is how are we going to rectify this? How do we go back and show the world that we deserve that? How do we go back and do that? I don't think anybody's questioning if the fight deserves a rematch. Everybody
Mhm.
wants to see the rematch already,
Right.
and we're lucky enough that we are have the same promoters. We have, there's not, this isn't going to take a rocket scientist to make. The
Right.
WBC after the fight was like, yeah, we want to make this rematch happen now. Like so we're hoping we get this and we start moving on.
Oh yeah,
Hell yeah.
that's definitely a plan. And you said you
Especially
want
if
to
it's on
hope.
a part of a bigger card too. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that they are talking about as well. Mark Taffet had a lot to do with getting Olivia Curry on this, and Mark Taffet's the manager of Clarissa Shields, and
Mhm.
there's hope that we'll possibly be on a Clarissa Shields undercard. We just don't know where that's gonna be. We don't have the details yet. And
Mhm.
but that was talked about. I'm talking about 10 minutes after our fight ended. Right? Like
Okay.
so we're hoping that we make this happen and we think we're gonna be the co-main event and we'll run it back and we're looking forward to it. Neither one of them are getting any younger and whatever we're gonna do, we're gonna make happen. It's the beauty of women's boxing, guys. Women's boxing doesn't have to be this damn complicated.
yeah,
Especially when
Mhm.
you're with the same promoter. There's who else are
Mhm.
you gonna go fight? You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
Mhm.
we're gonna stand there and we're gonna, it's gonna be whose is bigger, and I think ours is.
That's
We'll
what it
go from
is.
there.
Hell
Yep.
yeah. Because it's like,
So,
why not? That's the beauty of women's boxing. Like, you could a lot of fights you could just run back if they're real good.
mhm.
Like Michaela Mayer and the Sandy Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although the second fight wasn't as good as the first one, but the fact that we at least got it back
Well,
again,
why?
like,
Why? And like when I
yeah,
think about that, that's a perfect example of what I feel like is gonna happen. Michaela Mayer was clearly the one that was more skilled, and I'm sorry, in my opinion,
yeah,
K Scott, great. You did awesome. You came, you showed up. We didn't expect you to be that. That's never going to happen again. And
Right.
that's the same thing Michaela Mayer did to Sandy Ryan. She was like, "All right, Sandy, it was a close fight the first time. I'm gonna dominate the second time." And I feel like we know what we have to do to make this dominance already happen. Like Olivia's already mentally like, I'm ready to go, and I'm like, yeah, we have to relax. We do have a cut. We need to heal. But it was only three stitches, and we'll be right back in a full blown training. That's the one thing about Olivia. She doesn't stop, and we're going to make sure that we're ready for hopefully come December and we can rectify this draw. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. The reality of it is the draw. I told Olivia afterwards, we got lucky. We got lucky that we got a draw. They could have took this from us or not took it from us, but I didn't think we won the fight. I'm not. I never at any point ever thought we won the fight. I thought it was a draw when it came. I either thought we lost by a round or it was a draw, and we got the draw, and that's just me being honest. And Olivia will tell you the same thing because Olivia said I didn't feel like I won the fight, but I didn't feel like I lost the fight, and here we are now.
You
Now,
know
did
what?
you?
I could feel you on that. Like, because I personally felt like it was either Scott pulled it off by a little bit or it was a draw. And the reason what makes it kind of crazy is because Curry kind of comes back and makes a last stand towards the end. That really makes it kind of like that really kind of solidifies like, yo, like you could kind of score this a draw her way if you like she made like more swing rounds like so I
Yeah,
definitely could see that like yeah.
yeah. Olivia's never. I mean, we learned like people kind of forget this. We fought Shadeja Green in 2023, moved up to
Mhm.
168, fought Shadeja for an opportunity, and we were the first ones to go to distance with her at that time,
Yeah, I
right?
remember.
And
Yeah.
we went out there and we showed that we had the ability. It was the best and worst thing that ever happened to us. Best because people got to know us. Worst because we couldn't get a fight if our life depended on it.
We put
And
hands on Green actually like
Yeah,
yeah, I
because
mean,
I
look,
remember me and Shuttleworth were kind of talking about how Shadeja Green, the conditioning wasn't. I was like, wow, like her condition is not really. She's not really equipped to deal with Curry's work rate. Like we don't.
honestly we would have to go because we did speak about it on the podcast. We would have to go back because like we do this every week. So, but
of
Mm.
course,
we because honestly, it was that fight. It was that fight happened before Green fought Franchon Cruz, right?
Yeah,
right
yeah,
before
yeah,
we were the fight right before she
Yeah,
fought Franchon.
yeah.
it was that fight that told me she would lose the Cruz. Like we
I,
all
I'm gonna say
made
this.
our
I'm gonna say you,
predictions.
you know what
Yeah.
Cruz did differently than Olivia did in that Shadeja fight. Olivia looked cleaner. That was the mistake. Olivia should have thrown the punches that Olivia did and they just grabbed her because that's all Franchon did. All
Yeah,
Franchon did was whop, 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 hold her, dot, 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 hold her. It was the worst fight. It's the worst championship fight I ever saw in my life was Shadeja
wait,
versus.
wait, wait, wait. There's been a lot now.
Yeah, there's
Bro,
been
I
a
mean, I mean, really, honestly, it was holding the whole entire fight. I mean, that was in the shit, and that wasn't Shadeja's fault. It was Franchon. Franchon had a game plan,
Yeah.
smother her so she can't get off her counter punches. And to her credit, it worked, but it was an ugly fight to watch. Nobody wanted it. The what do you think about it like this? MVP has all that money. Wouldn't you go back and go get that fight for Green again? It never happened. And it didn't happen because of the fact that nobody wants to see that shit again. And I'll be very honest with you, after we beat K Scott, I do believe we'll beat K Scott the next time. My plan is I want damn Franchon too. I mean, I would love for Olivia to fight Franchon. Franchon got a big mouth and keeps on saying everything and all the above. But Franchon hasn't had a good fight since Clarissa's first fight. Like
yeah,
when?
yeah. That
Hold
was
on,
a
wait, 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 wait. She's Cruz has had some good little
Who?
bops here and
Who?
there.
Who? Who?
Was it okay? Wait, 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 wait.
Cornejo? Cornejo twice?
no, no,
The
no, no,
Those
no, no,
those
no.
no.
fights, okay, those fights weren't bad. There's another one, the one where she had the damn she fought the chick who it
It was on the it was on the first undercard for Taylor and Serrano. That was a
He
good fight.
dominated. That wasn't a good fight.
No,
You
that was
talking about
irritating to me. Like she made her bleed, bro. Like
Ellie?
yeah, like
yeah, that
That
was a
was
good fight.
Celarus. She fought Celarus. And then what
Yeah.
did Shadeja do to Celarus right after that fight? Knocked her out in 7. And then we fought Shadeja right after, and we went to distance
Yeah.
with Shadeja. I'm not saying that. Look, Franchon has made a career on make to getting into big fights and making it look ugly. Outside, like her best looking fight she ever had was Clarissa. After
Yeah, that fight was
Clarissa,
good.
she
Yeah.
fought a group of bums, fought Cornejo twice, and then she went on, to fight. Who did she? Then she went on to fight Belarus. Matchroom gave her a undisputed world title fight against Belarus. She had two belts. I think Belarus had two belts. She becomes unified, and Matchroom doesn't even pick her up. Think about
Yeah,
that.
well, she had that unfortunate fight with the other woman who
Was
Jimenez
it a
who poured it out.
that was a good ass fight right
That
there
was a
though.
good ass
Like
fight, but
Which
she was
one?
the one where
What?
she fought the man.
well the one
Oh,
Jimenez.
Alejandra. Yes, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. The one where,
Yeah.
yeah, the woman popped dirty. It didn't take a rock science to figure that out. That was
Yeah,
the
yeah, 'cause I
stupidest.
remember I watched that fight and I remember and she talked. I said,
Alejandra Jimenez. Alejandra Jimenez is
yeah,
her name.
yeah, and I remember
Yeah.
I heard her talk. I was like, wow, her voice is deep.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, look, when they said she was using steroids, people were like, can you believe it? Yes. I mean, did you even? But look, I mean, and they gave Franchon Box back those belts. She
Yeah,
goes on to be undisputed and doesn't get picked up by a freaking look, people kind of forget something. Franchon gets undisputed and doesn't fight for over a year and a half, all the way till she finally fights Marshall.
Yeah.
Right?
Hold
I
on,
mean,
wait, that Marshall fight was hard to watch.
yeah,
yeah,
it was.
I mean, all her fights are hard to watch. I mean, it's not. Why are
You
we're
see that
acting
this is
like
the thing, like, okay, I get that, but she's always fighting people who should be allegedly more skilled than her. And for some reason,
let me see here.
they
This
can't
you guys both
get
in
that
box,
off.
right? Here. I'm gonna here. I mean, I train tons of people, whatever. But both you guys have boxed before, correct?
Yes,
Yeah, hell
At
yeah,
some point,
yeah,
both you guys have sparred before, correct?
yeah,
yes.
Okay. And would you guys say you're more open level? You know the difference between open and novice, yes?
I
yeah. Like,
Yeah, meaning you feel like if you got in there with somebody that's unexperienced, you feel like you can kind of handle it. No,
yeah.
right?
yeah.
Too, and I'm not saying
It's
I'm
almost
making
like
a
a
point.
street fight at that point. Like
I'm making
that
yeah
type of
okay.
person.
I'm making a point behind it. You put a
Hmm.
person in there with let's say 60 amateur fights, and you put somebody in there with, let's say, 15 amateur fights, just a little over novice, but they have some experience. I
Yeah,
Anybody will tell you it is harder to fight the person who's just fighting off of instinct than it is somebody that's fighting clean. Kay Scott, she had some irky jerky little movements when we fought her
yeah,
that reminded me of very amateur-esque. She had 100 amateur fights. So her amateur style didn't what's it called? It messed us up a little bit. I'll take complete blame on it. Her timing, again, Kay Scott has never thrown more than a two-punch combination up until this fight. So for us, when she did come at it, it threw us off for a minute. And that's what made us not really take off to the later rounds. But make no mistake, that ain't happening twice.
That's what it
word,
is. Yeah,
word.
yeah, we definitely have like money that Curry will actually get it this time. But also, there's a question on those cards. Though, did you happen to actually see like what the judges like scored round by round, and it's particularly the two draws, the 98-92 card? That's like it's consequential.
Yeah,
That was written before the fight. But did you see like on the 90, on the two ninety
I
five
did.
95 cards?
Yeah,
Like, did Curry need to like win a certain amount of rounds to get the draw, or did she lose a couple of rounds to get the draw?
she had to win the last round on two of the three judges' scorecards to get the draw.
Mm.
So they
yeah,
had it. They had it pretty. They had Kay, I think, up, or it was damn near close, and then Olivia closed it out in those in the last. I think it was like the ninth and 10th. She ended up pulling
yeah.
off, and they ended up getting her that draw. And Olivia, it's interesting. I think something differently I'll do going into this fight is I might have Olivia do about 6 rounds of pads in the back before we walk into the ring, because Olivia has to be warmed up to a different level. Olivia is a very, I want to say, flat footed, but she's very heavy on
Hmm.
her lower. I have to get Olivia moving, and already warmed up before he walked into the ring, and you'll see a deep sweat was walking
Oh,
into the ring that night.
where, okay.
Now for those who don't know, like the history between you and Olivia Curry, can you care to touch upon it? You know, and
So Olivia, I met Olivia in the amateurs. I didn't really know her. She came from another gym in Chicago. I always knew the one thing I always like knew about Olivia was that like I ended up being me and my other assistant coach ended up being the National Golden Glove, Chicago National Golden Glove team head coaches in 2019. And I met her one other time earlier in the year at a national tournament in 2018. And I remember her buyers drove all the way down from Chicago to Chattanooga, Tennessee, by herself across the country in a little car. And she showed up and she came to my other trainer that was with me and said, "Hey, can you guys work my corner, wrap my hands? I don't have anybody." We always help people from Chicago. So we're like, yeah, of course, we work. And I remember going, she won her first fight at nationals, and she wins, I believe, her second. She goes on to like the semis. And I remember going to my assistant coach. I said, "This girl can't fight for shit, but she's tough as hell." And she hates when I tell that story, but that's the complete truth at that time. And I didn't think anything of it. And she would always be one of these people that would always show up to all these things, whether she got a fight or didn't get a fight, and so on and so forth. And finally, she came to me right around January 2020. Her and four other fighters. Look, I had no intention. Like my gyms in Chicago make money. Like, and that sounds weird to say because most gyms don't. I have a
right.
chandelier. I have a chandelier over my ring.
Oh,
Like I
Damn.
cater. I cater to everyday white collared folks that want to learn how to box. But then again, I have, 7 or 8 professional fighters in my gym. So, we're able to run the numbers when it's coming to like throwing, having shows in Chicago. My people sell out because of the fact that we have such a massive fan base that runs through my gyms. Um, but like, Olivia showed up and before the people, I said, "Look, I'd rather be at home with my wife and kids than be here with you. But if I'm here with you, you better respect my time. And if you can't handle it, that's cool. Just don't expect me to cater to anyone. But if you show up every day, I'm not delusional. I'm dealing with adults, right? I'm
Yeah.
not dealing with like kids. So I would
mhm,
tell them straight up, like, hey, call me and tell me you're gonna run 10 minutes late.
mhm,
Just be transparent. I woke up late, forgot to blah blah blah. I don't give a shit what it is, but be
mhm.
transparent. And people couldn't. Most people just can't do that for some reason or another. But me and Olivia clicked, and we've been with each other now for 5 years, and now have challenged for unified world titles. And we always make jokes from Mexico to Texas to Iowa to Indiana to fucking Detroit, and who knows where next to. And the goal is still the same, and that's to win these world titles. And when we get this, and I'm hoping we get this, like I want this to be the fastest made rematch in the history of boxing. I want this. I want us to sign for this rematch this week, and I believe with the help of you guys, I believe you guys know who Mark Taffet is. Yes, Mark
Yeah,
Taffet was
yeah.
yep, the former HBO president of sports and Clarissa Shields, and our promoter with Demetrius Salidas. They, we were that card that night. I mean, that's period and point blank. At the end of the day, more people are talking about our fight than the main event. And that's no
Yeah.
disrespect to Brandon Moore and Deontay Savage. He did what he had to do, but at the end of it, they were talking about Olivia Curry and K. Scott. And
Yeah, we were talking about it like in our
Yeah.
chat. Like, yeah, it's like that
And
was
the
a
main
fun
event
thing.
was cool, but
Yeah,
the co-main was co-mainin that night.
yeah,
It was good ebb and flow. The only thing it missed was like a knockdown or two, but like easily a fight of the year candidate. And we don't like to differentiate when it comes to fight of the year candidates here. Like how they be like men's fight of the year. No, it's like if it's a good ass fight, it's a good ass fight. Like
yeah,
right.
so, it's definitely a candidate for fight of the year in my book.
yeah. I mean, I think there were about 2 or 3 rounds you could say were round of the year in there. You know what I mean? Like
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
it wasn't just. I mean, from K, I give like I said, from K relentlessly coming at Olivia to Olivia just killing K Scott's body, and that's something
Mhm.
I. It's not gonna be. Look. I don't see the rematch going much differently because I don't know if either one of them know how to fight too much differently. I have things that we're gonna add on to our repertoire, but
Yeah,
anybody who saw the first one is gonna love the second one because both of them want it more now. I know
yeah.
Olivia. If Olivia wasn't cut, I guarantee you she'd be back in the gym today. There is no doubt in my mind. And Olivia Curry's the toughest person in any room that I walk into, and that's really hard to think that because she's also the dorkiest person that walks into any of the rooms I've ever
Yeah.
been to in my whole damn life.
I,
So
I, I mean, Coach. I know you've been around. I mean, been around boxers. Like some boxers, sometimes their personalities don't like match their actual fighting
no,
spirit. Like yeah, some of
it's
them.
Yeah.
it's honestly it's good because I've dealt with the everyday boxer for so long. Like the everyday I want to be a tough guy, I'm gonna be the
Oh,
baddest
yeah,
dude in the
yeah.
room
Mhm.
bullshit every day of my life since I was about 7 years old. So to get somebody that's like a Northwestern grad who who challenges me not just as a trainer but also to open up my worldly views on stuff and talk about things that are different. And we've me and her, our relationship is different. I have a child with special needs at home. My life is not the same as everybody else's.
Mhm.
So for me to be able to go to somebody and be like, yo, I'm having a day, you're right, I'm having a day that I really can't just show up to the gym and train you because I'm not going to give you the best version of me.
Mhm.
And for her to be able to be like, thank you for telling me that. I appreciate it. I got you, coach. I'm going to do what I got to go do.
Yeah,
And
that's it.
that's the kind of real relationship that we have where
Oh,
Mhm.
all the people that I have a junior welterweight Ronnie Jalomo who is 7-0 with one draw, out of Chicago, who has worked for me since he was 21 and now he's 28 years old and I turned him pro. And same relationship. That kid, there's been stories about everybody talking about how Olivia Curry went to Disney World with me. He went to Disney World with me too. Him and his daughter went to Disney World with me and my family because we don't stop training. It's what we do. I have another kid, Jordan Jackson, who, was the typical, Chicago kid that nobody wanted to put any real time and effort in. He's 7-0, six or 7-0, and a real hot super middleweight prospect. He's going down to Jesus Ramos's camp for the next 5 weeks as head sparring partner starting tomorrow. So
Oh,
he's
he's gonna
going.
get some work. He's gonna get some good
yeah.
work in on
Yeah,
that.
yeah. He was oh my god, I can't, all of a sudden I'm blanking on his name. The Polish guy who fought Chris Billy right before Chris Billy fought Lester Martinez. And he also fought Diego Pacheco. So Saliki.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
Selecki?
I know you talking
Yeah.
about.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Jordan Jackson, my fighter was down there in his camp getting him ready for that fight too. And now he's, then he was doing TCL and so on and so forth. And now he's jumping right into camp with Jesus Ramos, getting paid head sparring partner for that camp. So that's, I got him. I have Elia Carranza who fought O'Shea Jones
Yeah.
on OTX. Elia who gave O'Shea Jones everything that she could handle. Um, a lot of people think that we deserved the win in that fight. I think that fight was a draw. When I went back and I actually, I was there. Obviously, I was in the arena for it. I managed Elia for her last four fights and helped position her into the world title opportunity. I also have. Did you guys follow TCL at all?
TCL.
Yeah,
See, I do to a degree, but because Massachusetts has it up
yeah,
here, so I do follow because I know Speedy fought in it and everything.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah. I have. Did you follow anything with Amelia Moore that was in it?
yeah, I know. Yeah,
So you know who Ariel Davis is?
I've heard the name. I have not
Ariel
seen.
Davis in TCL in the last 2 years, she's 21-3 in TCL.
Mhm.
She is the most dominant. And I'm not, and I say this easily. She's probably one of the most dominant junior middle. I'm sorry, junior welterweights in the world, and she hasn't had her first pro fight. She's hopefully being turning pro in November, and she's somebody that I'm working with at the moment as well. And I, we're the goal is still the same here. and that's for to win the world title. For Olivia, in that sense of it, is to win the title. For my other fighters, to continue building these relationships. I have Juan Guerra, who beat Nico Ali Walsh in February on
Yeah.
ESPN.
Mhm.
That was another
Yeah.
one that was Jesus damn Juan. Juan's the kind of guy where I told Juan that you got 4 weeks, and Juan's like, yeah, no problem. Dropped a quick 40 pounds, quick my ass, but a quick 40 pounds, and went in
Well,
there.
how many weeks? When you say quick, because I know boxers be doing extreme stuff to cut weight. So what's the turnaround to drop 40
4 weeks.
pounds?
Look
Like,
here, you want to be on here? I'm gonna be real honest because I don't care. It was about 50 pounds, and he dropped them in 4 weeks.
damn.
Goodness.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Woo.
but the ones and look, I'm not. You know, I wish we recorded it. We were literally at the Garden for that weigh-in, running. I paid the security guard to let us in the main building because they had the heat on, as the weigh-ins were in the theater,
Mm-hmm.
to let us run around the damn Garden because Juan had to drop about 2 pounds about 20 minutes before the weigh-in, and we did it. and
Wow.
then and then he still had the energy to rehydrate, feel better, and kick Nico Aliwash's ass all over the place. Nico Aliwash hasn't brought us up again since. How do you lose to somebody and never talk about it? Like not once. But that's just another story for another day, I guess.
I mean, and I've met Nico before, and like I said, great, great guy. He
Seems like
clearly
a
loves
nice dude,
boxing.
but nice. Look, his name's Ali, and that's the only reason why we're talking about him. I mean, let's keep it
That's
like
See,
just two.
see, Coach, only
When I
because because I'm friendly with him. I've met him.
friendly ain't got nothing to do with it, but let's just keep it real. Like
yeah,
I feel like I mean,
I mean,
we
let's
keeping it
just
real.
like
Yeah.
come on, man. I'm not being like it's not being mean about it. It's just like
and I'm sure he's heard
he,
of this himself.
he's a tough club fighter, right? Like he's signed by Type Rank because his last name's Ali.
Mm-hmm.
He gets the connections because his last name's Ali, right? Like this isn't like he's not like, oh my God, look at this guy. He's just like his grandpa. No, his name is Nick. He's a white Ali. He ain't nothing like his grandpa. And I mean, look, it was the craziest experience because I didn't train Juan for that fight. I helped him make the weight. He works out through my gym at Unanimous Boxing Gym in Chicago. I got him down. We killed him. Like it was a group effort. All of my fighters, from Olivia Curry to Ronnie Jalomo to all of us, we worked together to get Juan down and really get him in shape for that fight. And you know, the whole entire fight, like literally in the corner. It's one of the craziest things. They sit me for some reason. Like there's the corner to the left of me, Juan Guerra, and to the next three seats over next to me is the whole Ali family,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and
I've met them too.
I'm the loudest person in any arena that you've ever gone to in your life. You can hear me word for word, like pretty clearly, almost. So like I literally turn to them before the fight starts, and I go, I mean, no disrespect, but I'm the loudest person. And they turned to me and said, it doesn't make a difference anyway because they're going to be one. I said, okay, but I just want to let you know, I mean, nothing that I say, no disrespect. And, it starts to go in, and Juan gets to him in the first round. And I go, great, just keep it going, keep it going. Juan, keep that pressure up, keep it going. He can't handle it. He can't handle it. And they start screaming out, it's only one round. So, as it starts to get, more rounds are coming, and we're winning the second round, we get the third, and I just, and then at that point, look, I'm a fighter first, and then I'm a manager, and I'm a fighter, coach, manager, a gym owner, small business guy. I'm also from Chicago. I'm loud as hell 98% of the time, and so I just said what I wanted to say, and what I said was, he ain't his granddaddy, Juan. I mean, this ain't his granddaddy. In front of everybody, they got up and left the whole place. The funniest part was ESPN was doing a mini like day in the life of, and
Yeah,
they
I
kept the
remember
cam
that.
they kept the camera on me and just told me to keep it rolling. And Juan wins. Juan, they gave Juan by split decision, which was bullshit. I thought we won by unanimous when we beat him, but we still got the win, and we moved on, and We had Juan ended up finding Art Barrera in on the Indeway undercard in Vegas during Cinco de Mayo weekend, and
Mhm.
we end up getting stopped in that one, which was a tough fight. But Juan will be back hopefully by in November as well.
Awesome. Now, I know we've talked about all your current fighters that you train and everything like that, but in the case of we want to let the viewers like know about you. Like, first of all, what inspired you to actually get into boxing?
I've been boxing since I was 5 years old. I was just the kind of kid that I wasn't a good team like I played team sports, but there was just something that was not satisfied for me.
I hear you.
I
Yeah.
I always felt like there was something like when somebody would lose, like if somebody like missed a foul ball,
Mhm.
the coach would be like, we lose the team, winning the team. The fuck we did. I didn't lose that shit. I was 2 for 2. You know,
Facts.
I grew up in an era where things were not soft. Like we
Yep.
said the things that
Yes.
needed
Yes.
to be said, and I couldn't. And they'd be like, you need to find a thing that's just an individual sport. Well, okay, and like I was already doing boxing at that point, but then I decided to take it farther, and I kept on moving, and then finally my senior year of high school. I'll always remember my junior year of high school. I took a Miss Chavez's class. I saw her years later, by the way. They did this. What do you think you're gonna be when you grow up? Test on some bullshit computer, and all mine
Mhm.
said was sports. And I remember her being like, "Well, good luck for you. I've owned 2 gyms. I own management companies, and I've done all that." So the Miss Chavez, I saw her about 10 years later, and I
Mhm.
got an award from my son's school because when I came back at the end of my boxing career, I raised about $25,000 for special needs schools.
Mhm.
And I just didn't. I don't like. It's not anything I brag about because the reality is that you don't brag about you giving away stuff. Like you don't brag
Right.
away about trying to help people. That's something that needs to come from the heart. But I did break to her, and I said, "Hey, Miss Chavez, fuck you. I made it the way I made it in boxing. It's always funny. I didn't make it big in like winning world titles and doing that, but watching my people grow now and watching me being able, like people say, oh, you didn't make it in boxing. Well, I didn't make it in boxing being a world titleist, but this is all I do. This is this is my 24. This is my retirement fund. This is my
Mhm.
college, my kids' college education. Boxing's the only thing that I do.
Yeah. No, and we definitely feel
Real
that.
talk.
Yeah. Because sometimes boxing is life. Depending on situation or whatnot.
100%.
Yeah. But
It's just
yes,
like
so
you'll find a way around a world title somehow, like management, trainer, something. Like
We're gonna get a
if it's
world
for you,
title,
it's for you.
and I mean, look, like I said, I'm not okay with what is still, after the weekend because I expected myself to have that, is that world title around Olivia, 2 world titles around Olivia Curry's waist. I wanted that damn. They had the WBC coaches belt there in the arena. I wanted my WBC coaching belt too. You don't
Hell
want to.
yeah,
It's always like it's not about you. Well, shit, it feels good when it is about you. And I wanted that damn
exactly.
belt. You know what I mean? And it's
Mhm.
just like I don't want to sugarcoat it and try to pretend like it doesn't matter because one of my proudest moments is when Olivia fought Jadeja, and I got the the love from the commentators. That self that that what's the word I want to use here, the gratification of hearing your peers give you props. I
Mhm.
hate it.
Yeah,
I hate that I like it, but damn it, sometimes I need it too. And in
yeah.
this fight, I'm glad that everybody enjoyed it. I'm glad it was a war. I'm glad that people want to see it again because we're gonna it's gonna I'm telling you it's gonna happen right now, and when it does, we will be the unified middleweight champion of the world.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, like I said, smart money is to put money on Olivia to actually to this. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Walking away with both the WBA and WBC middleweight titles. So, in terms of obviously, in all years of boxing, you've boxed since you were 5 years old. Like, what's the biggest life lesson that boxing has taught you?
Nothing, nothing was as nothing, nothing comes without hard work.
Hmm.
Everything that boxing. anything that you do, whether that's, I tell my kids, my son's a cross country runner, my daughter plays soccer, and my other son does special needs, Special Olympics
Mhm.
and stuff of that nature. And what I tell them is, oh, you're gonna do this, and you're gonna put everything you're gonna put into it. That and like because that's what boxing's given me. I don't let people just come in and be like, oh, I want to fight. It doesn't work that way. Like you're not gonna insult the sport that's given me life.
Yeah,
And
no.
and I think what it is the hard work. I think that's the best way I can say it. It's the hard work.
No, and obviously with this, obviously boxing has its ebbs and flows, especially as you know, as you get older with boxing, you realize that today's boxing isn't the same as yesterday's boxing. And obviously, we're all around the same age, so boxing when we came up with is far different from that. How do you see the sport growing with today's younger generation?
Man, I the pandemic did push it back a little bit.
Yeah.
There were so many young fighters that I was watching from afar. Not that I knew them, but amateur fighters I was looking forward to, and the pandemic threw a wrench into that. I mean, look, I had the biggest women's amateur team in the United States in 2019. When 2021 came around, I had two.
Damn.
Like, I mean, because life happened, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
You start to
And
reevaluate.
life happened hard. Like
Hard,
Yeah.
a
life
hundred.
didn't just happen. It happened hard.
Bro, I didn't have a beard or whites. You know what I'm saying? Like this is from the pandemic.
Yo,
This
yo,
is from,
honestly, coach, me too. Like before this, because in our early days of this, like our comics, Shuttleworth is a gifted artist. So like he draw me. I had a goatee and everything, but it wasn't great, anything like that. When that pandemic hit, I was like, pfft, beard came in there, and then after a couple of years of all black, gray started coming in.
I
So
mean,
it's like, yeah,
it's a whole different level. Like the pandemic, like my gym, specifically my Logan Square gym, it's in it's in Chicago. It's in the Logan Square neighborhood. It's the second most walkable neighborhood outside of Times Square in the United States. My
mm,
gym,
Damn.
I have a 7,000 square foot gym, full level and lower level. We had 725 members when we had to close Logan Square, and we didn't when we had to, put a halt on our business for almost 8 months. Life hit us with a pile of bricks because we were in that neighborhood, because we were all that. It wasn't like rent stopped. You know what I mean? Like we
Right.
luckily, thank goodness, our landlord and stuff, we reorganized stuff and we redid things. But I had a second location that I moved 3 times up until this year when I finally said I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not doing a second location. And I was taking time away from my family, from my fighters, because I'm trying to run two businesses at once in the same and it just didn't work out. So I closed one. I have my main hub that we've been at going on now for 10 years.
oh
Oh
wow.
wow.
Yeah, that pandemic really, yeah, really messed up boxing, like on so many levels, even at the major levels, at the minor levels, like,
Yeah.
yeah, like because I remember we would just come up with different concepts, me and Shuttleworth and our crew, just to to talk about because it was like there were no fights,
Yeah,
so it was like,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, we went the minute it kind of opened re back up. Olivia and I we went to Mexico and we turned pro in Mexico. Because there weren't fights quite yet, unless you were in the bubble, and if you were in
yeah,
the bubble, it meant you made it onto top rank and so on and so forth. That wasn't happening for us. At least not at that point. Nobody was investing in winter women's boxing. Eddie Hearn made a huge splash in women's boxing. Then he got out, and it doesn't even seem like he's in it anymore. You got MVPs doing their thing, and now they're trying
Paul
to.
took over.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely doing that. I'm interested in seeing what their plan is and what they're gonna do. Especially since they're really aiming for the 3 minute rounds for women. I don't know. I know the WBC wants to have nothing to do with that. Their other organization and body. I think MVP is going to end up coming up with their own world title and their own like name of a world title for themselves because I think they
mhm.
want to move certain aspects and good for them. They've done a lot of great things for women's boxing. But for us, our goal now is to be unified world champion. I think the first the next step is that rematch with K Scott.
Absolutely. And I'm
Hell
just
yeah.
taking a look at some of the comments in there. I know there are two questions for you, Coach, from Anthony Manzano. He
What
says,
up,
first question,
Anthony?
and he says, Coach, is it harder to teach a fighter who already has great fundamentals to throw with more power, or a young power puncher to throw with more fundamentally sound accuracy?
A young fighter, a young fighter, because power. To get them to slow it down, to understand that it just comes off that pivoting of the back foot compared to, everything has to be this big whoomp,
Yeah,
and
doing
yeah,
all this,
yeah,
where it's just
exactly.
just like that.
Nobody, yeah, just being able to slow it down a little bit, getting people to see it. I think that's something like what I try to specialize in is watching, using your eyes, really watching and finding your spots. It's something with even with Olivia that I worked on so much that we didn't capitalize as much as I would like to was finding our spots. Olivia stood up a little bit too tall in the pocket and got hit with stuff that shouldn't have happened. Olivia
Yeah.
needs to get those knees bent, and we're gonna start working and turning K Scott into a damn circle and
Mhm.
just doing what we got to do. But yeah, I think definitely teaching a young fighter to slow down.
Okay. And then the other question is, Coach, why do you not see a ton of power punches in women's boxing? Most of these fights go the distance all the time. Would you rather see a knockout?
Here's, I think it's a couple different things. I think that it's, yeah, so I think 3 minutes might help out get more knockouts. Absolutely. Right? You hurt somebody and all of a sudden, ding, and in women's boxing, it does feel like that bell rings
Yeah.
really quickly. What I would like to see is 12 2-minute rounds.
See, thank you,
Start
thank
there.
you, thank you, thank you. You,
Yeah.
you know what? And I say that, and I say that because we've had arguments about that, and we even had like a Twitter poll about it maybe a year or two ago, where would you rather see 10 3-minute rounds or 12 2-minute rounds? And I was always like, we don't have to do 3 minutes. Just give me two more rounds.
Yeah.
Two more rounds, and I'm good. Because then it feels because you have regular fights that are 10 rounds, then you have title fights that are 10 rounds. Like there's no championship rounds like how the men had. So that's all my thing. So okay, one other person sees it that way. Okay, cool.
I do think that that's something I would love to see. I think 3-minute rounds. Here's what I'm gonna say about 3-minute rounds. I don't think there are enough women in the world to do 3-minute rounds yet. Now I say that
I
because
could agree with that.
if one gets injured, like here at 160, there's 30 women. If one gets injured, that's a big percentage. One.
Mhm.
If two get suspended, shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's a
Mhm.
war, if
Right.
Olivia and K Scott both got suspended for this fight, that's the division. Like that's
Yeah,
most of the
you just knocked out
division.
like the top
Right.
five, top three.
100%. And then what?
Yeah, agreed.
And then what? So to me it's like you can't. I think it's okay to add two more rounds, give it to 2 minutes. There's no need to get for at this time. Let's gradually move it. Let's get to the same amount of rounds, and then if in time, if women's boxing continues to succeed, and I think with MVP, with Salida's promotion, with a couple of others, I think it's going to. And when that does happen, and the numbers are right, then move it to 3 minutes.
I can. I mean, personally, I think. I mean, I wanted to be 3 minutes off rip.
Yeah,
Because I
because of
think.
that super bad fight. That's why, which
Yeah,
was damn good, but
yeah. This
that's
because
Which
super
one?
bad. Like every hmm?
Super bad. Oh, you mean super bad versus Marlon Esparza?
yeah,
Yes, yes, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You
I
you
mean,
you
yeah.
know.
Look, and here's something it's always interesting. I don't care, and that sounds horrible to say it like that. I so people, if you look, and it's mostly the ignorant people, to be very honest with you, that are in comments of fights. They're like, we don't want to see women get beat up. We don't want to see women look bloody or what's it called. And
Change the
that's like,
channel.
yeah,
Yeah, right.
100. I'm with you 1,000%. But there are a lot of fucking people that think that way,
Yeah,
and
unfortunately, yeah.
and the business side of it, consumers. would rather be like, well, if I'm gonna see it, I'd rather see it for 2 minutes than three. And that sucks. And look, I mean, looking at what happened in that fight. That fight was a bloodbath. What Tanisha was
Yeah,
trying to
no,
market and
yeah, it
start.
was. I was like, I'm
It
over it because
stole the show for me that night because
yeah, because the rest of that card, the Canelo main event included was the boring, was nonsense.
I
But
mean
that
Ryan
fight was
Garcia had a good knockout. Trying to think, was there another fight? It was somebody else had a good performance
I
in.
don't even remember, to be very honest with
yeah,
you.
that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. Like it was only, but that fight because I remember I was raving. I was like, wow, this is a bloodbath.
it stole the event because it was all I remember from that night is the Ryan Garcia KO, the super bad fight, and Canelo and Kovalev on the couch waiting for UFC to finish.
Yeah,
Yeah,
taking naps.
And then they fought, and that was boring until the knockout. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I agree with you. I see it just like that. Like I don't mind the 2 minute rounds. Just do 12 rounds because the thing you know what is I think a lot of people are so quick to say 3 minutes because we've all trained in gyms before. We have women train for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I've never been in a gym where they put the timer for two women because for 2 minutes
Me,
because women are there.
actually, me.
oh,
Oh
you
shit.
do?
Oh damn.
I train Olivia Curry at 2 minute rounds. I do
Oh
not train
wow.
Olivia Curry, and nobody could say I'm wrong. Olivia was ready to go for another 10 rounds after the fight was over. It wasn't like either like Olivia wasn't gassed, and you like I said, Olivia felt like the woman wasn't hitting her hard. Little did she realize she was still getting hit, but that's a whole different story for another
Yeah.
day. But
Yeah,
like the reality of the beast is that the two like you have to be able to run those numbers. You know, we
Yeah.
used to, Jessica McCaskill. We sparred with Jessica McCaskill a lot in her career, especially when she was beating the Omar Iberra and Candy Wyatt
yeah.
and all that. Her and Olivia sparred exclusively 3 times a week for 10 rounds, and what we learned was it's a numbers game in these 2 minute rounds, and if you're not ready to let your hands go in 2 minutes, you're losing that fight. Period. Point
Facts.
blank. If Olivia and Kay Scott were not in the most phenomenal shape for this fight, whoever was in better shape was winning that fight that night. And I think a draw, as much as I hate it, is appropriate because it's going to give us one, an excellent rematch, and two,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to see who's going to want it more. And I don't believe that Kay Scott wants it more than Olivia Curry.
There, yeah, no, absolutely. So another question that came in, Coach, who were the top three five fighters you watched growing up?
Okay, and no, Salvador Sanchez was one of like a Mexican fighter that I loved growing up. Pernell Whitaker was
Rest in
another one.
peace. Yeah,
Okay,
he was.
yeah,
He's the Pernell Walker was the only fighter I ever met. That I was starstruck. Like every other, because I was like literally, I was just like his handler or whatever. He was like, "You want to go talk to him?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I got to sit with him. I took pictures of him, like the pictures of me. I'm cheesing my ass off, like smiling. Like I've taken pictures with boxers, but I'm over here with the Kool-Aid smile on my face that I'm talking to Pernell Whitaker. And
no,
I got
I
to,
completely get it, man. I mean,
yeah,
he was something special, and unfortunately, he battled a lot of other demons
yeah,
throughout. And I would say the other guy that I wouldn't say I looked up to him because I just thought he was cool. I was in high school, and coincidentally, when I turned pro at 21, I got to spar him for months. I was living and trained with him with Fernando Vargas at the time, and
yes, yeah,
I
Yeah.
ended up going to camp with Fernando Vargas, and it was Vargas and Ishii Smith when he was getting ready for the De La Hoya fight,
mm-hmm.
and I was out there for that, and I experienced that whole entire thing at a very young age too, and I was able to spar with him. So those were guys that I looked up to. I love Fernando Vargas's aggressiveness
Mm-hmm.
back then was just something that I
Mm-hmm.
was like, wow. But I was like me as a pro. I wasn't, as a pro. I turned pro late. Like, and I said it sounds weird. I turned pro at 21. So to say I turned pro late sounds dumb, and I'll explain why. When I was 18, I made the Olympic trials. I was
Okay,
like 2 points away when I was 18 from making the Olympic team. I didn't make it. I waited 4 years. I should have never waited 4 years. I should have turned pro when I was 18. I was angry. I was I had determination. I had that will. Then I went for the next 4 years and I lost a lot of that. And the reason I lost a lot of that is because I got complacent. And I was a 20-year-old kid who cared more about meeting girls and doing his own thing than I did about boxing anymore. And I was okay with that. I got married young, got married at 23 years old, man. I've been married for almost 20 years now.
Oh,
And
congratulations on that.
thank you. And I have 3 kids and had them young and came back when I was 30. I came back to boxing when I was 30 years old because my son, like I said, I have a son that was diagnosed with autism. I came back. I fought on the what was that? Andrew Fonfera, Jose Campillo undercard. It was Mike Mata, Arthur Spilka too at the White
Oh,
Sox
that was a
Stadium.
slugfest.
I came back. I
Yeah.
came back on that undercard.
Yeah.
First fight back at that point in almost 6 years. I went from 230 pounds back down to 154.
Wow.
First right hand I throw, my elbow pops right out of socket, and I fought 8 rounds to a draw like that. And I raised 25K. I came back that December and I beat the guy in a split decision that time, and I retired, and that was it. Raised another 25K for schools, and just kind of then bought iPads and so on and so forth. Boxing for me has always been an outlet. It's always been a place where for me in my circle, and I always feel like at that time when I was younger, it made me the smartest man in the room. And that was always something where I always felt like it was a place like it's always funny. I have older brothers and people that were always like, I want to box too. And I used to tell my parents if they box, they'll never see me in the gym again because
Yeah.
it was my place, right? I
Yeah.
didn't want to share boxing with anybody. Now I want to teach it to, everybody, anyone except for my kids. I don't train my own children. I
Now,
let,
Oh wow.
no,
now
no,
with your
no.
kids, like you wouldn't even want to do not even just a self defense type of thing, or even
You know what?
as a full body workout, because that's what
You
boxing
know,
did for me.
you guys know me very little. I'm the most smart ass person you ever meet in your life. So like my kids, if I teach them fighting on top of being a smart ass, I'm never gonna be able to like live that shit down ever. So like so
I
we're
feel you on that.
Yeah.
I'm not like my oldest years ago, and there's like a video out there where my son does like cross country and he's really good and he's looking for college scholarships that are coming out next year. He graduates. And like one day, when he was like in like the 7th grade, he was like, let's run outside. And I almost, but like it was one of those things was like go and the guy falls. That was me. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like if my kid whoops my ass, that shit's going viral for the rest of my life. And there's no way in hell. And I like the fact that my kids are a little scared, like and I leave that mysteriousness to go because I think it's the only thing that saves me to this
I
day,
feel you. Yeah.
The reputation, right?
Yeah, hundred
Like
percent.
I know,
Like,
like he looked like he
yeah,
could
like
do it.
well, it's funny because they'll go to the gym with me from time to time, and people be like, your dad was a bad man, and they're like, what? Like they don't know me like that, and I'm just like, yeah, don't forget, I will fuck you up, like they don't
Mhm.
get it, every once in a while they need to understand it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, I know most people will say like they might approach an old boxer and it's like, oh, he don't have it anymore. And some of the most potent ass weapons I've ever seen were from older fighters, well retired, and somebody just not understanding what understanding the type of strength that
Fucking around and finding out.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
100%. I tell people I still will spar a couple times a year. I'll get in there with Olivia probably 3 or 4 times during training camp if I have to show her something.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, look, I'm about 235 pounds. I'm the fastest fat guy you've ever met in your life. You would never. You look, I know. You don't think I'm joking. I'm not playing around when I say this. It's remarkable, but I say that because I didn't take a pounding in my pro career. But like, yeah, everything hurts and everything, but that's just from the training. I didn't really. It wasn't from like
Like
my pro
punishment.
career. Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't take like I didn't slow down because I took too many punches. And so it's something that I love to do from time to time. But I always tell like some of these white collar guys, I go, you are a lot bigger and you are a lot younger. As hard as you go is as hard as I'm gonna go. And I know I can handle it. I know you can't. Like you go in there and you have to give that same speech because I
Yeah.
always say I'm a grown ass man first. I ain't gonna let nobody just whip my ass. But I'm here to
Yeah.
work with you until you make it where it doesn't. And sometimes they fucked around and they found out. And
yeah.
it's just one of those things. I have fun with it, man. I love boxing. Boxing is my life. Outside, it goes my family. and then it goes boxing, and we're a boxing family, really, without having any of my kids fight. Plain and
Now,
simple.
speaking of
Man, that's
boxing,
what's up.
is it now boxing? Now, what do you think of? What are your thoughts on boxing's current landscape right now? Because obviously, it's very different. Like boxing is not on cable TV anymore. It's not on network
Got all
TV.
these
Well,
apps. You got
it's on apps
influencers.
and everything.
That
Like,
everybody's trying to do it. Women's coming up. The men's is kind of peaking, or there's no real, like, you don't really have any. Like, remember years ago, you would always have 2 or 3 anticipated fights that potentially could happen. I feel like we don't even have that anymore. It's just random grab bag fights.
yeah, like basically,
Yeah, you're right. There are a lot of grab bag fights, right? I think that these Gervonta Davis, Jake Paul fights, like what are we doing? Like I saw the clips of the press conference today, and I'm like, what is happening? Like fights like that, I don't need to see. Right? I need to continue seeing. Like I'm excited about Brian Norman versus Devin Haney.
yeah,
I
of
think
course, yeah,
that's
Hell yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
like,
well, one of
but
our guys was actually at the he would normally be here, but he was actually at that event, and so we will we'll get his thoughts later on the next time. The
I'm
tank.
super hyped about
Well,
that one. But even that, nobody knows who Brian Norman is. You got to be a fan who knows Brian. And
yeah,
even and Devin Haney, yes, a little bit more because he fought Ryan and all that kind of stuff like that. But like those mega fights, look, the boxing landscape is. Do I hate it? No. Do I love it? No. But the fact of the matter is, we're getting fights that we always wanted to see. Like Canelo Crawford. If it wasn't for Turkey having an unlimited payroll, we would have never seen that fight.
That's
We
also
would have.
true. Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, we would have never have seen. The Tyson Fury versus Usyk. We would have never have seen it
yeah, absolutely.
because of
that's
what's
definitely a fight we would have never saw.
Yeah.
yeah, like there are fights that we'll never see without Turkey. Seeing Bivol versus
Better be.
Benavid all those times, we would
Yeah,
have never seen it when because Turkey's lining up Bivol versus David Benavidez is gonna happen. We would have never have seen it. Like there are fights that we would never see without him, and thank God for him because we're able to see him. But on the other aspect of it, man, from somebody who manages fighters and does this. The only thing that is unfortunately doing to the sport of boxing is it's pricing everybody else out. How do promoters, managers, how do guys like that, how do we tell our fighter, if you fight on one of those Turkey yellow sheet cards, you're making real bank. I've gotten offers for some of my guys for 6 round fights on there versus one of like as a B side, and I don't do that. But like 10,000 for a 4 rounder, that's a lot for a 4 round fight.
I bet.
Mo- most 4 round fights,
hell
if
yeah.
you're making, if you're lucky, $200 a round, and
Yeah,
then like so like that the level of money, it's going to be hard to match. It's different, man. But I don't hate the landscape of boxing right now. I think it's in an interesting place. I just hope that these promoters and are saving and really understanding that if you're getting blessed to be on these turkey out of sheet cards and you're not spending all your money because they're preparing for that when that bank closes, because I think it's gonna, I don't know when, but every couple of 10 years or so, a bank opens in boxing, right? And when I
mhm,
say
Yeah.
bank, PBC, that was a bank. At one point, they had
Yeah, about
700 some.
2015. You're right.
yeah,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a bank,
mhm,
right? And then 10 years later, we see Turkey El Sheikh. In between that, we saw Eddie Hearns really make a run at it, right?
yeah,
But to his credit, he did it a little bit more organically. He didn't go for like the massive money grabs, but he was able to build his, and that's a lot of credit to Matchroom. But every 10 years or so, somebody comes in with these massive bags of money and they disturb the market, if you will, and I think right now the market's like for the elite guys, man. If I was an elite guy right now, I ain't mad at it. The money is so big.
right.
But for everybody else, if you're not an elite guy, who's paying that? Who's paying it? You're hoping that you get on a turkey card.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just don't like the whole pillaging of the superstars and sending them to fight in an area where it's like 75 people in a desert. Like, that's
I
my
mean,
own
look, I
thing.
get it. I get it. At the end of the day, he's the head of the entertainment district in Riyadh. and
Yeah,
and and for that reason alone, he's taking it to Riyadh. Riyadh makes, I think I saw something in a quarter alone. They make $700 million for 3 months. Like, yeah, they're gonna do what they
god
want to
damn.
do because their funds are unlimited. I mean, and who? Let me, like, for real. I'm hearing things like in Riyadh that they have like I forgot what singer it is that will sing you good morning if you're in one of the hotels for $10,000 a pop. That's how much money these guys are making now. So
mm.
it's
God
it's
damn.
they're printing their own money. So I
Hey, yo,
get.
Pat, imagine Bobby Brown singing "Good Morning" to you at the hotel. Your prerogative. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, but damn, like, yeah, okay, okay. I mean, I feel you. I mean, I guess to me, it wouldn't look as bad if boxers were more active. Like, if guys fought 3 or 4 times a year, it wouldn't look so bad if one of your fights was in Saudi Arabia or something. But when you fight once a year or twice a year, and you have a fight in Saudi Arabia, or you have both fights in Saudi Arabia, it's hard to really keep your fan base fed in America or
I
wherever
hear
you're at.
you.
Really.
I hear you. But Turkey's only taking the guys that already have that base.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
everybody that he has, like that he throwing these things at, they're all guys that are already stars, not superstars, but
yeah,
stars. Like some guys are superstars, Terrence and all those guys. That's a whole different level. But like the Devin Haney's, the Brian Norman, like like Brian
the
Norman's a
Bam
young.
Rodriguez.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Like even Bam. God, I hope it's gonna be tough just because he's in that smaller weight class. I love Bam. I think Bam's
Yeah,
probably
Yeah.
one of my
quality.
favorite fighters in
Mhm.
the
Yeah,
world right now, pound for pound. But like
Absolutely.
there are just so many. It's gonna be hard to tell these guys don't go over there for a free bag. Look, fighting at home is fun. It's great. It's also a pain in the ass. There are tickets. There are people calling you. There are, everybody and their mother knows you from God knows. You should see the messages I get from people I haven't heard of in 20 years. I ain't the motherfucker fighting. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's really interesting to watch, man. And I think that at the end of the day, I think Turkey, look, any one of us would do it. So I'm not, I like, me
yeah.
and Olivia talk about all the time. Like, Turkey comes and calls us tomorrow. Hey, you're going to fight Clarissa. I'll give you 1.5. Guess who we're fighting? Clarissa for 1.5. It's
And
not
I
a,
do not blame you at all.
exactly. Like the opportunities come, you have to go take them. You have to go.
Yeah.
You kind of have to go where that money's at to an extent. Until you're a superstar, you kind of have to go where it's going. And even they do. I mean, look at Terrence. Terrence had to go to Turkey too. Canelo went to Turkey because they were the biggest bags. I mean, you kind of have to go where that money's leading you to.
Now,
Yeah.
speaking of Crawford and Canelo, your thoughts on the fight itself, and then do you think a rematch is needed?
Rematch is not needed at all. It wasn't a close fight. Let's just keep it real. Terrence won 8, and I'm being generous with giving Canelo 4, 8 out of 4 rounds. I mean,
I mean,
like,
that was my score. I
That
had
was
it my
my
score.
score as well.
Yeah.
Like it
like
was always a 116, 112, 117, 111 type of fight to me.
yes,
Like
yeah. And look,
that 115, 113 was like, come on.
in 2022, I had a fighter that was training at the B&B with Bowman Bomac and them, Ken and Caleb Hernandez, and he was training with Terrence, and I was able to take Olivia Curry out there with us, and we spent some time, and I held mitts for Crawford in 2022, and I remember watching him spar, just sitting out on the other ring watching him spar, and I remember what I took away from it was, man, this man, he's absorbs information. Like he looks like a computer collecting data
Hmm.
as he's sparring with you. He's so relaxed. His eyes are like not like wide open like belligerent, but just very on you. Like he is reading you to a T, and then he dominates you. And I was very like, when people were asking me who I thought was going to win that fight, I said it's 50-50, just because of the size and the experience of Canelo.
Right.
It was a 50-50 fight, but I said I'm not going to be surprised if Bud beats him. And what Bud did was he got a game plan and he stuck to it to a perfect T for 12 rounds. And I knew when he opened up and was that seventh or eighth round and he opened up on Canelo, I said, "Oh shit, he ain't got no chance in hell." The minute he started to let his hands go, I thought to myself, "Oh shit, no, yeah, Bud ain't losing another fucking, like, Bud's not losing this fight
Hmm.
because he got like, at that point he was already confident, but then you put the seal of approval confidence on top of it. There
Yeah.
was no losing that fight after that. I do not want to see him fight Benavidez. Like, I think it's
Neither
stupid.
do I.
Nah,
What?
that was Canelo's work. I don't believe this ain't no Highlander shit where you inherit the guy's powers and his work.
Exactly.
Nah, that was the media should have got on Canelo for the Benavidez fight. I don't believe Benavidez is Crawford's work. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think if you want, you try to maybe meet Boots at 160, but like, I don't even know if Boots earned the right to fight Crawford. Like, I need to see more from him.
Now
Like,
Ortiz and Boots need to fight each other to see who fight Crawford.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
we got
like
this a
that.
separation
I
going.
like that
Like
too. But Crawford said he's not coming back down to 54. So you're
yeah,
gonna have to convince him. But look, there are belts at 160 that Crawford can go and easily win and be undisputed in a fourth weight class and go back down to 160. Why not? I mean, we're gonna have to find somebody's gonna have to find something that excites Terrence Crawford enough to even come back. Like
Mhm.
what?
yeah.
Like what? Who?
But see,
If
the 160 guys need to kind of mix it up more because
Yeah.
I mean the man's old. Like he shouldn't have to collect four separate belts. Like some
yeah.
of y'all need to go consolidate that a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
But a lot of the sanctioning bodies will find something for him. And
yeah,
and 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 anybody, look, if anybody gets a shot at Terrence Crawford, it's a guaranteed payday. So
yeah,
what are we talking about? Like, they can go ahead and be like, hey, Terrence, like, you want to fight so and so, and he's gonna make a decision. The belts don't mean anything to the superstars. Like, and
yeah.
that's not me being insulting to any of the sanctioning
Oh
bodies.
no,
I want those belts. But what I'm saying is that to the superstars of the world, they'll make their own damn belt. That's why Floyd at the end didn't care if it was for a belt. That's why Tyson Fury was never undisputed. But
yeah.
Tyson was considered the Ring Magazine champ because of what he did to Deontay Wilder for all those fights, and he was the money guy in that division until Usyk came and did what does best and dominate both of those fights.
He
Hmm.
was already lenient from the damn the
Yeah,
Klitschko fight. Like,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. The boxing
whatever.
is very different. I'm just like, there are a lot of those
Oh yeah, I
Anthony.
got some interview. I'm some questions. My bad, Pat. Sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm just going through it because I know some of those questions, Anthony Mazzano, I'm not going to touch those. I'm not gonna run them by you, Coach. So let's see.
And what up, Chris Brand? Salute, man. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, and I already gave him the Chris Brandt question. Okay, here's one I can use. When culturally those fighters are taught to fight differently from the American amateur system. How do you adjust your teaching style?
You go fight by fight, right? Like, if I know we're fighting somebody with a different kind of style, you try to adjust to it. Even Kay Scott, she came up with a little bit different of a style than what we anticipated, just
Mhm.
from what we researched, for example. And she comes from that Australian Olympic. Not She was never on the Olympics, but the high end amateur backgrounds, and it is different.
Mhm.
It's something you kind of adjust fighter by fighter with.
Gotcha. And now, did you have anyone in your gym currently that you had to kind of do that to, or everyone was pretty much been home based?
In what sense? I'm sorry. Like, kind of repeat that to me.
Yeah, no. Have you actually had like a fighter that come from a different country to your gym? You had to kind of like change the style around, like anyone in the.
Years ago, I did. Years ago, I had a kid who was from like Austria, who was a good amateur, turned pro. Had the first couple wins, and the adapting is hard. Like, look, like that's not like if somebody comes to me with a European style, I don't know if I can work with it like that. Like, I think I can.
Mhm.
I think I can adjust it with anybody, but I haven't done it yet, so I don't know. To be honest with you.
Gotcha.
Wow. At
Eh,
least you're optimistic about it. Never say never.
Yeah,
Nah, I
no,
mean, it can happen.
Yeah.
I feel like fighting's fighting, but there are certain things that are hard habits to break out of, and you don't know. I think that's all up to the individual more than anything else.
I agree. Because one thing I'll say, like, and I know you come across it, like a lot of people who like box, like I'm not gonna say they're crazy, but they got like mentally it's something like to like, and I've had other trainers tell me this, but like people who box, like I don't know, they like a lot of them have chaotic lives. They
You know
have
what's so
something that makes
funny?
them determined.
That's not that's not what I experienced. Like I experienced that more when I was younger myself, because I came from gyms that were, I would that were just in rough neighborhoods and stuff like that. The kind
Yeah,
of that I experience now, it's not like that. Like I have undefeated fighters now, and I have, Olivia Curry's a Northwestern graduate, right? I that makes film and director and does all this stuff. I have, another guy who's a single father who's makes great money being a trainer. M- my m- my whole entire crew, it's not. I think boxing has changed. I think that it's opened up to just multiple different people. Yes, it's still a poor man's sport because all you need
mhm.
is your fist. But
Right.
the
yeah,
reality is, I don't think that it's just the people who come from hard backgrounds or need a way to find themselves. Like this ain't a Rocky movie every time. Sometimes it's
Mhm.
about a
right.
motherfucker that's wants to show up and wants to do a sport and all of a sudden realizes he's good at it. How many times do we hear that? Like that
Mhm.
happens all the
Yeah,
time, and I see that more. I get more of the guys that want to box because they always wanted to box than I do get the kid who's like the one I have to turn around and have to be. No, I'm not. I've had that. Yeah. This ain't some movie. No, it's not always like that.
Yeah, because I mean, I mean, I think the era of boxers, like let's say a Manny Pacquiao, who literally had to fight to live, like those type of, or a Floyd, who basically dropped out of like junior high or whatever to start to make money for his family. I think those days are kind of over, to a
you
degree.
get more Chris Algieri's and Jared Hurds now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, no, yeah. I mean, look, I think it definitely opened up. I think people from all backgrounds and all financial backgrounds are able to do it. I think it's not just our, people of minorities that are have to fight their way out of the struggle because look, man, I don't always think that's always the case. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
Right.
I don't, it always kind of makes me laugh because I know some people like, man, where you from? No, man, I came from a mom and dad. My parents were here. You know what I'm saying? Like, no,
But boxing
I had a
traditionally
support.
has had a lot
I
of
had a sup-
fathers in
I had.
boxing though.
I know I had a support system. The shit's
So,
crazy, but it did happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
no,
yeah.
yeah, myself. I mean, I came from an upper middle class background. My dad just happened to be the boxer. He's the one who introduced me to it, and he
yeah,
didn't want me to train in it. Never mind, like he just like, yeah, you can watch it, but don't train in it.
I
But
get that. I get that
yeah,
for
but
sure.
I had to. But once I got older, I was like, I had to do it. To see what it's all
Yeah.
about.
Completely get it, fellas.
Yeah. So I got some non-boxing questions. We also because I know we talked a lot of boxing, but we have some non-boxing questions that we want to run by you because sometimes just gotta know the actual person. Like what do you like to do outside of boxing? Even though boxing is life, you know what I mean? You know,
Boxing, outside of boxing, my kids. My
yeah.
wife, my kids. Like it's
Mhm.
plain and simple. Like I like to be with my wife and my kids. I like to spend time with them. I sound cheesy as hell, but I've been married for 20 years with my best friend. I mean, like when you have somebody that literally when I had an opportunity to open up my first gym and you have somebody that's your partner in crime that literally was like, yeah, go ahead, open up our bank account. Let's open a gym. Like that shit's crazy. Nobody does that for you. And
Mhm.
my family's done that for me. My kids have let me miss big moments of their life because I have to be somewhere else for fights. I mean, my life outside of boxing is my life outside of boxing and my wife and kids, and boxing's able to support my help me support my wife and kids, and that's what I'm all about. I when it comes to everything else, I like watching my kids play sports. I like just kind of I have three dogs. I have a house. I run a business.
Yeah.
I'm an everyday dude. I probably smoke a little too much weed, but past that one, everything's
Hey,
good to
it's
go. You know what
legal
I'm saying?
now.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
I'm in Chicago, bro. But shit, it's the funniest thing in the world. I'm 42 years old, and I didn't start smoking to weed till I was 39.
Oh
Never.
wow.
I didn't touch it, not as a teenager, not as anything, because I was an athlete. I was,
Yeah.
preparing myself for a different world. Then the pandemic took that shit away from me, and I said, "Yep, weed's the right way to go." And that was, and that was kind of that. So, but yeah,
Yo, that's what it is, yo. Yo,
Get that sponsorship going. Y'all,
I know,
yeah,
y'all
right?
listening out here.
It's legal now.
all in due time, all in due time.
But yeah, y'all get at him. Trinidad Garcia. What it do?
So,
I mean, it's
so,
funny because I always felt like, man, somebody like if somebody did like uh like I know there has all the because I'm a little different. I don't mind like all the influencer boxing because to me, I feel like that complements boxing in a way where it
I
shows
can't
you that
stand it.
people. But me, I just feel like it gets new fans, like because a lot of people, those are the people like when you tell them a great fight is on, they don't have to know who it is. They just, hey, a great fight's on. It's easier to get them to damn change the channel. Like, okay, well, yeah, because I saw Shaq fight Shane Mosley and I was entertained by that or whatever the fuck, like shit like that. So I get it. So, but yeah, like
So,
man, but nah, can I ask you a question?
yep. So, do you have any type of music you like to listen to? Any favorite artists from Chicago that you down with?
I wouldn't say favorite artist from Chicago. I come, I'm '90s kid, so
Yeah.
I like '90s music. I mean, I'm all over the damn place. My everything from hip. I was a big Nas guy growing up. You
Yep.
know what I mean. Like I love
Okay, yeah.
Nas. Like it was like I liked it when I understood what rappers were actually saying. I come from an era where shit actually made fucking sense to me. Like, there's
Bars.
you know what I mean? Like I need stuff to make sense, you know what I mean? And I love hip hop, but but now hip hop for me, there's only a few of them. Do I like Chance the Rapper? Do I like those guys in Chicago? Yes. But I like Chance because he slows the shit down a little bit. Like I need you, fucking pronunciate, when you're speaking. You know what I mean? Like I know I sound like I'm fucking an old man, but I need it sometimes. Outside of that, I'm a big tattoo guy. Like I went to right during the pandemic in 2022. I started like right before the pandemic. I really wanted to start collecting tattoos, and what I mean by that is collecting tattoos from the best artists in the world. So I went to a guy named Yomiko. His name is Yomiko. That's all they call him. I don't even know his last name. He's out of New York City. He's the one who redid the Rocks arm,
Oh, okay.
like
Yeah.
Okay.
redid the whole Rocks bull and
Yeah.
did the evolution of the bull. And I got portraits of my wife on my leg, my son on my hand, another one on my leg. I'm talking about 9 hour sessions knocking them out. I fly to New York City to go get it done in one shot and fly my ass back. It's one of my biggest it's my probably my only thing I spend money on for myself is tattoos. So I have a full sleeve and whole mechanical arm, if you will. My
Mm-hmm.
son on my hand,
Oh hell no.
my
Yeah.
wife on my leg, my other son on my other part of my leg. And the other guy that did the other one on my son, he was like top two in like Ink Masters, and he's out of Chicago. So I like to do stuff
Okay.
like that. That's just for me. You know what I mean. Like I always, I grew up in a time too, and we're in the middle of a world that's under distress, right? Like we're living in a time now where being brown and being Mexican for some reason or another scares the shit out of everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not what I'm about. And I'm a proud Mexican American, guy who has been here my whole entire life. I was raised by a family that's been here their whole entire life, and yet I still get pulled over for walking down the street. I still get because are you an immigrant? What the fuck? I look. And I'm going to explain something to you. I do not know Spanish. My name is Trinidad Garcia. Okay, and I've been dealing with that bullshit my whole life. Some people are like, do you know English? I'm like, that's all I fucking know, and I don't speak that all that damn well. Like I go, I'm very upfront, and I'm very what's it called, and I thank God I live in a place like Chicago, even though President Trump's out here saying he's gonna fucking go crazy, fucking welcome
Send
it,
troops.
because I hope he does, because the one thing you want to see Chicago be bad, you're gonna get worse. If you show up here, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the bullshit. I'm sick of watching people come here and get separated by their families, all because somebody has an idea of what they think this world needs. Instead of bringing people together, they're dividing them. I have people from, like, somebody, like, I use Olivia Curry example. Olivia Curry is a single white female who has education, who came from the best backgrounds in the world, and me and her, that's one of my ride and die partners for life. I have my other fighters who are African American to Puerto Rican. I'm a Mexican. I'm not even supposed to get along with Puerto Ricans, and I get along with Puerto Ricans. You know what I'm
Fact.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
and we're all
Only
getting
in
along.
boxing.
Yeah.
We're all getting along, but for some reason or another, when I walk outside every day, I have to be worried whether or not, when my kids get on the train, whether or not someone's gonna ask them for their fucking for their citizenships, and when they don't know fucking, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
it's to the point now in this world now where where I have to watch my back just for being the color of my skin. This world needs to stop doing what it's doing, and pause the time for a minute, and remember that we're in 2025, not 1950, and get the fucking head out
Exactly.
of their ass.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a messed up time though, and but all we can do is just try to
And
keep our
I'm
head
sorry, I
up.
know this had nothing to do with boxing, and I apologize. It's just
No, no, no.
Hey
This is
man,
non-boxing. This is the non-boxing part.
nah.
Yeah,
okay, okay.
no,
Here
no.
it's cool. We not like those other channels. You can speak freely here. Like, you know
Yeah,
what I
like I
Yeah,
mean?
said,
yeah.
no.
And I just, it's more about the reality of the beast is that boxing has been a nice way to get out a lot of the aggression that we have with everything else. It's so funny because we sit there and we talk with people who don't agree with what we agree with in the gym, and we do that. But at the end of the day, we respect one another. Where the hell did the respect go?
Yeah.
Like, what happened to the respect? Like, this shit's crazy to me. Like, it's always funny. Like, everybody always makes jokes about my one fighter, Jordan Jackson. He's from the south side of Chicago. Like, he always says it all the time. He's like, Trinidad, you're the only dude that can call me the N-word. And I just laugh. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was just, and me and him always, he's like, yeah, because it's different with you. He's like, because you Mexican, but you ain't Mexican. And we can joke around like that because one, we know each other, and two, I'll whoop his ass. I don't care how good he is or what's going on. But and three is because there's a level of respect that needs to be understood between two people. My business partner at the gym that I opened up the gym with, my business partner is a Republican. My business partner is a white older male,
Mhm.
and me and him don't agree with everything under the sun, but we agree with the fact of why are people getting separated from families? Why is it that every time I walk down the street, I'm 40? Why am I worrying about this shit at 42? Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? By now,
Yeah.
I thought this shit was over. I dealt with this shit when I was 16 in the city of Chicago. I have to worry about this when I'm 42 years old. If a cop takes me down to the ground at 42 years old, first of all, I don't know if my knees can get the fuck back up.
Mhm.
Secondly, my anger levels are different than when I was a teenage kid.
Right.
And it's just like now, when I was a kid and that used to happen to me, I used to be upset. But my mom would tell me something, and now I'm upset, and ain't nobody telling me nothing. And it's just like I shouldn't be dealing with this at 43, but it is what it is, guys.
Yeah, no, it's a fucked up situation out there. This
Yeah,
world is kind of going to hell in a handbasket, though. And it's just like it seems like no one wants to kind of right the ship, to get it before
yeah,
this country kind of
yeah.
goes, tears itself apart with bullshit.
Exactly. You got people out there getting shot on national television now, and You know, no matter what, people shouldn't be killing each other. But
Right.
that's where we're at, and it's just like, what,
Facts.
what are we doing here? Like,
Mhm.
at what point do we have to stop and be like, hey, as people, black, brown, white, other, we're killing each other in 2025 over opinions. What the
Yeah.
fuck? Over opinions. And that's the part that's hard for me. Like I said, I have 3 kids and I have a child with special needs who's 6'2", 230 pounds, and I'm
Mhm.
scared of my motherfucking mind when he leaves the house every morning. Because when they tell him to put his hands up, he doesn't understand what that means.
Mhm.
Damn.
Right?
Yeah.
You go through that. You feel that every day. It's not an easy thing to do. And I pray anybody that's listening to this, yo, treat people the way you want to be treated. Stop being an asshole. It's not good. Like, talk to, you want to know how they're feeling, you want to know their point of view, ask them a question.
Right.
You'd be amazed how much shit can get done with being like, are you okay today? Let me
No.
get to know you for a split second. But it is what it is, fellas. It is what it is.
Yeah, golden rule, man. Treat others how you want to be treated. It's such
100%.
a simple concept, but so hard to apply for some reason. Yeah,
100%.
Because people more frustrated now. The inflation, housing. It's so many multiple crises just going on
100%.
at
Yeah.
like everywhere now. It's like and then social media, people are seeing people pretend to have greater lives than what they're having, and
Oh
people
yeah,
want to
100%. Yeah,
keep up with the Joneses.
yeah,
you see social media, and it gets you more mad, right? Like, you almost, one of the best things I think that ever happened is I didn't grow up during that era, because the only time you ever got anything was the newspaper and the news.
yeah,
And if you missed it, you know what the fuck was going on. And I
yeah.
think I think social media made more people more mad, gave more people an outlet to have an opinion, which isn't a bad thing. But when it comes down to a lot of false information, and you're feeding people false information, you get people that do shit like kill people, and
Hmm.
Yeah,
that's because their anger, they feel justified by somebody else feeling the same way instead of getting the facts. And unfortunately, that's stuff that we're seeing now.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
it's
Because
a
it took more. Also it took more effort to hate back in the day. Like back in the day, if you was hating, you had all that bitterness in your heart, whatever life beating your ass. You had to go outside, go to the mailbox or something to see somebody with new Jordans on, or to
Right.
see Shorty with the
Yeah.
new Fendi bag, or
That's
you know what I
that's
mean,
that's fact. Yeah, it's
to
a
see the
fact.
new Mercedes Benz. But now you could just roll over in your bed, scroll through your phone, and you're like, God damn. You,
Yeah, yeah.
you not
No,
only hating somebody on your block, you hating some motherfucker who live in Taiwan now,
100%
across
for
the
no
other side
reason.
of the world.
For no reason, and it's just like,
Yo,
I liked it better when this shit didn't exist. It's one of the reasons I'm happy that my kids do not give a shit about social media. It doesn't. I'm so happy about that because they understand that a lot of it is, people, wanting to put their best selves out there, but little do they realize the struggle that got them there. It
right.
is
yeah,
what it is, for sure. But fellas, I gotta let you guys go. Unfortunately, I gotta take off myself because I gotta be up at the crack of dawn tomorrow morning. So,
All right. One last question.
for sure.
Would you try broccoli on pizza?
Would I try broccoli and pizza, man? I pretty much eat anything. So I'm
Okay.
not like,
Yeah.
I am a Chicago, like, one of my favorite things. One of the things me and my wife connected on when we got married was the fact that we're both foodies. So
Yes.
whatever, like, we'll try anything once. You know what I'm saying? So broccoli and pizza, I think I've already had it. I'm pretty sure she's made it. Like, so it's not. It is what it is. Like, it's not. I'm not saying it's my go-to thing to get. But what I'm saying is, it's not an impossible situation in my household.
Yeah. Yeah.
congratulations. You're like, I think the second person to say yes to that question. The only other person being Jeremiah Dreamland Milton.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, dude. I mean, look, it is what
Yeah,
it
I'm a
is.
Ninja Turtle, man. I eat anything on pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. That's a true statement. Look, like I said, I have a special needs son, And for a very long time, my wife still makes him like pizzas and stuff like that. But he used to be an extremely picky eater. We used to hide all his vegetables underneath the cheese pizza. It didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like as long as it was in pizza form, the shit was eaten. Or in his or quesadilla form, one of the two. And that's all that really mattered, And so that's how we would
Oh yeah.
sneak in a lot of that stuff in there. But fellas, again, I gotta go, man. I really
Oh,
appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon. Hey, don't hesitate. Let's message each other so we can make sure we get Olivia on here in the next day or so, a couple days.
Oh yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
man.
We look forward to. We'll love to have Olivia Curry, the future champion, on our platform. Shout outs to her. Great fight on Saturday. Y'all the best, man. We really appreciate you rocking with us, Ring Game Radio.
Nah, man, for,
Absolutely.
for sure, guys. Thank you guys so much for having me, and we'll speak soon.
Absolutely, coach, man. Take care, man. Have a good
Take
evening.
care.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it, man.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Bye bye.
But let's see. Oh, did he go? Yeah, I think he did.
Oh, okay. Word.
I'll remove him.
Yeah.
Let's see. But yeah, no, yeah. You heard from Coach Trinidad. Like I said, great guy. And like I said, obviously there was a very informative interview. And yeah, and you guys bring a lot of questions on there. We like I know as much because he has a certain amount of time. But we appreciate obviously you giving all the questions on there. But there's only so many questions we can kind of ask him. So.
Yeah. Because he's an active guy, you that sounds like one of the busiest damn world class trainers. You know what I mean? So, so respect to that. But yeah, another great interview. Like Ring Gang does it again. We just had that vibe. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Because like I said, as you saw, like he opened up. Like he probably didn't mean to open up, but he opened up. So it's like because that's what we do.
he elaborated on a lot of questions. Like Ring Gang Radio is a safe space. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Come here, vibe. I mean, shit. Yeah. Honestly, like Ring Game Radio is so safe a space. I don't even think there's anything Broner could do to get kicked off.
Right. Facts.
So I mean, like, Adrian Broner. I mean, shout outs, but I'm just saying, like, that's how safe a space it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, yeah. Honestly, I ain't gonna lie, yo, Pat. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here, bro.
Oh no, it's like you was so still. I thought it fucking froze.
No. I'm just good at staying still, bro.
Oh no, I was gonna say like that whole shit with him and Stad and Cam and all them. That reminded me of the episode with PJ and Big Face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I was having flashbacks to that shit. Like,
damn. Yeah, that was a classic episode. Like,
classic. This nigga like, Jay, don't you ever grab this nigga again to make sure he like damn, all right, man. I didn't know, bro. But man, but nah, that's how Ring Gang is, man. But yeah, we a safe space. We like the vibe. We look forward to getting Olivia Curry on here.
And
there
are other fighters that we're reaching out to, to also get on there too. So like I said, we hope to do more of this, especially since the fight schedule is kind of light for the next 2 or 3 weeks or so before it kicks again in October. So we're gonna try at least get a couple more fighters or coaches on here. To vibe.
Keep your name buzzing. You know what I mean? Like you can't be that damn busy. Like
exactly.
I mean, I know some of y'all hold like real jobs down and shit, but part of being a boxing, you want to get that bag, you want to get the endorsements, the sponsor, you want your fan base to grow. You gotta engage, you gotta make moves. You know what I mean? So
especially since independent media is the one that kind of controls boxing, because the mainstream media, unless it's a huge fight or doesn't give the sport the proper attention it deserves. So yeah, like and like I said, Ring Gang Radio is a platform for any fighter that wants to come on and talk their piece, talk their shit, and whatever. Like I said, it's a total safe space. Like I said, you won't get booted. Trust.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can't imagine what you'd have to literally go off camera, magically appear, beat on our door or some shit, or like throw hands physically. Like I don't know. Like it had to be something. Like I don't know, but this boxing theater unexpected. We say all this shit, then then the next person we interview would be some crazy shit go left.
Yes, yeah,
that's boxing though.
but yeah, though, yeah. So yeah, I mean, let's see, Anthony, how do I get a hold of you guys if I want to jump on the panel? Our Twitter inbox for the most part, because that's checked by more frequently, or if not our Gmail, ringgangradio@gmail.com, because I usually monitor that, So those are the 1-2 things. But the Twitter inbox is the main one, because we do see it. But yeah, no, this is a great episode, great interview, and we might be back later on this week, maybe a rant session or whatever. I know the other guys that are usually on here, one is getting some more media content, from the Tank Jake conference that was in New York today. So hopefully I'll get that probably tomorrow, and once I edit it, watermark it, whatever, it'll be posted up and everything like that, and obviously this will be tagged up as well. But yeah, we're about to ready to get up out of here. It's about midnight here. People gotta make moves. Shutterworth's probably gonna go to the gym. Me, I'm probably gonna go to bed. That's how it goes, man.
I'll probably not go to that, because I'm supposed to train somebody tomorrow. And I haven't trained her in for 3 months now. So
okay, so you gotta get your rest to get your strength up.
Yeah, and I did train yesterday. Got it in.
Word.
The other night, I got another student from the first time in the everybody was. I don't know, the summer hit, it'd be hiatus time for some people. People get busy and shit.
Well, today is the first day of fall at 2 or something p.m. That's when fall hit. So I already know, I gotta go find my warm ups and more hoodies and shit like that, and find my Eagles hat, find my other Eagles hat and wear and shit.
Yeah, because you were sounding worried as hell in that chat. So the Eagles won yesterday, right?
Yeah, they sure did. Beautiful.
Okay, because Pilot was in there early talking shit too.
Yeah, I mean, it was the Rams. The Rams was kicking the Eagles' ass. You know what I'm saying? It was.
Wait, you had one of those Israel Vasquez final late rounds.
Yeah,
so to speak.
At the end, it was 26-7 going into the third quarter, the Rams winning, and we ended up winning 33-26. That's how furious that comeback was. Dog.
That was an Izzy comeback. That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure my neighbors heard me scream my fucking head off. I was calling my pillows. I was calling my pillows here, bitch ass niggas. That's how I was. I was wilding out. Everything, I was facing the wall, facing my bookcase. Everything was a bitch ass nigga. What's I was so amped.
God damn. Oh, I can only imagine. Yeah, okay, that's why he got the Eagles.
That's why I have all those damn. If on my personal IG, nothing but football stuff. That's because I went sick. Anything that was Eagles related, I went sick.
Word.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I gotta say, y'all definitely gotta watch. If you're a Scott Adkins fan, you definitely gotta watch Prisoner of War. That movie is that's probably the best Scott Adkins movie since the Boyka, since the Undisputed films.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that movie went hard, even for us.
Yeah, must watch. It has that 80s feel, has that No Surrender, No Retreat Part 2, Rambo 2 pop. Got that all that energy, man. Just beat oh man, Scott Adkins kills that shit. It's the type of movie we've been wanting Michael Jai White to be in. Type of.
Yeah. So something where it's taken more seriously, the budget,
more substance. Yeah.
And more display of some actual of his fighting disciplines, which he's a master of plenty of, like a lot of them. So
yeah, and not to say he hasn't had those type of movies, because he's had Undisputed 2, he's had Blood and Bone, but
so Blood and Bone was a personal thing. Blood and Bone was the movie that had me around that time wanted to get my body that way. Like I went sick. I was like, I found like his workout plan around that time. I went sick to have, to get that type of build. Because I was like, it's like, because it's muscle, but it's not useless muscle. It's like muscle that, that you utilize.
Athletic, agile muscle. Like,
yeah, it's agile.
Yeah, Blood and Bone. Like, I remember they were showing the commercial on, I think maybe Spike TV. Like that Tuesday when it came out, I was at fucking Best Buy buying that shit. Like, yeah, that was like a first day cop. Like, how niggas buy like CDs, like music.
Yeah, DVDs back. Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's how it was to be like with movies and shit. Like when it came to like martial arts shit. But I say that is like he just hasn't had one of those in a long time.
Right.
Like, at least Scott Adkins was kind of feeding us a little bit with I think Avengement. Accidental Tourist,
stuff like that.
Shit like that was decent. He had a few joints that were decent, but like this is like the real deal. Like that's what we're saying. Michael John White's missing. Like it's been a while. Like he needs that real deal. Like okay, you got to take him serious as a martial artist again, type shit. Like,
right.
I mean, yeah, like he definitely did. Like Donnie Yen makes these movies all the time. Like Prosecutor is like another one of those. Like Prosecutor is like, whoa, like that's some real shit. Like the whole Doom style beginning when they had the drug lab, like
But we'll definitely try to get some we'll try to get some more movie reviews in, because there've been a shitload of movies that we've had out. We just haven't had time to kind of figure out where and when to actually talk about them, but we will get to those. Hopefully more movie reviews, and stuff like that until the fights start coming, and obviously probably another Forgotten Fade live session, a live rewatch, and of course a rant session, which we haven't done in a little bit. So and then maybe a music battle too. We'll see. Like we have.
Yeah, we do for quite a lot of shit. Let me ask you this real quick. Since we've done Ring Gang for like 7 years, is there a Forgotten Fade that we talked about on the show that we probably need to revisit? Like one of the 5-year, like maybe 2018, 2019. Like,
it probably is.
Even 2020, actually, like.
I might need to think about it, but because like I said, there's a lot of fights that either like obviously that we mentioned, and some that I might have actually written down, put it in my little document just to do a Forgotten Fade on or whatever. But there might be some where I never even got a chance, but we just mentioned it off rip or something like that. But we'll probably do 2019 had a lot of fades on there. There might be one that we've probably forgotten that probably was.
Oh, that we shout out that year all the time. Like if we ever make an album, it'd be called 2019.
Yeah, like 2019 is like the boxing equivalent of what 96 was for hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much. So
yeah.
So yeah,
was just that year. You know what I'm saying?
Might have to show 2018 or 2020 that love.
Yeah, no way. Yeah, and like I said, if there's a Forgotten Fade, trust me, I'll find it and we'll mention it. And it'll be it'll be another live rewatch. But yeah. There's plenty of stuff that we're gonna try to plan and everything like that. Just because we bring it to you, that content. We try to bring you the best in everything. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. We're about to get up out of here. So for myself, Pat Scorpio, New England representative, for LB Shuttleworth, the God, the GOAT artist, and for Coach Trinidad Garcia, and then the rest of the crew, who participated in our chat. I know Pilot was in the chat and everything like that. And shout out to everyone in our UK contingent. This has been another wonderful episode of Real Talk Boxing Interview Edition. When as always, man, if shit's real, we talk about it. So until next time, peace.
There's only one Ring Gang Radio.